Hey folks, how are you doing today? Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whenever and wherever you are watching this. Hope you've had a good week so far. It's only Tuesday if you're watching this live, so it's not like the week has really gotten underway. Um, just to kind of show you how it is for me, I get up at about 4:30 or 5 each morning, and I was lying there all groggy, and I thought, well, at least it's Friday. And I don't know where that thought came from. And then I thought, no, it's not Friday. What is it, Thursday? It took me a while to come to the fact that it was Tuesday, but that's all right. It's a good week. Hey, so let me know if you can see and hear me okay, as per usual. Also, I have upgraded my internet speed. So I'm very hopeful, and so far it's looking like it's going to work. I'm very hopeful that I can do more polls and more quizzes and things like that that we'll use. In the past, how I got a bunch of frame rates dropping, and so I was getting all choppy and so forth. Well, hopefully that should not be a problem anymore. Jeremy, sounds like you can see and hear me, so that is fantastic. So with that, I do want to give one heads up. We are actually going to be doing a poll. We're going to start today with a poll. So, hey, Timothy, do me a favor, open up another window and go to pollev.com, lawn shift bow without the ER 302. I have it in the first comments up at the top of the comments. Ryan, fantastic. Looks like you can see and hear me. That is great. I'm going to go ahead and take this link and put it right here. Of course, you can also text me. I'm going to take that and put it right down here. You can text the number 37607, text lawn shift bow 302. If I upgrade my service, then I can make a better ID than that ridiculous thing with my name. And if this works today, then I might very well be doing that because I see that no frame rate drop or anything like that. So with that, I as you're getting that window set up, open up another window so you can get to that poll. You'll see it here in a moment. Yeah, we are talking today, and let's go ahead and pull that back up. The dependence effect and the rise of consumer economy. Okay, so we're going to define what we mean by consumer economy, and we're going to do that with the dependence effect. We're doing two readings in this particular lecture, the dependence effect and pecuniary emulation. But before we get into this, let's do this poll. Okay, let me go ahead and get me out of the way there. How many pairs of shoes do you own? And I have mine up. I have it up here so that I can answer as well. And I have between 4 and 6 pairs of shoes. So go ahead and do that. Yep, there I am. 4 to 6 pairs of shoes. Starting to come in very good, and check it out. The frame rate looks awesome. I'm not all choppy and so forth, so I'm very pleased about that. I think increasing my internet speed did the trick, right? So we've got, we'll just wait another moment or two. We've got 33% of us have 4 to 6 pairs of shoes, and then 67% of us have 10 or more pairs of shoes. I don't see anywhere here where it can tell me how many people have responded, so I'll have to figure that out. But that's interesting, right? I mean, think about it. How many pairs of shoes do you really need, right? So, okay, maybe a pair of shoes for the summer, one for the winter, one for work, and maybe church, synagogue, mosque, what have you, right? So maybe 4 pairs of shoes is what you need. And yet, check it out. A lot of us have more than, 2 or 3 pairs of shoes. Now, if now that this is working, I could do the same thing more than just shoes. We could ask, how many hats do you own? Well, I own like 10 or 12 hats. And folks, I don't wear hats. How many jackets do you own? How many jackets do you need? 2 or 3, depending on what kind of weather. And yet a lot of us have a lot of jackets. And then my big thing, guys, is bags. You know, like backpacks and bags like what you see if my chair weren't in the way. That bag right there. And if I turned a camera around, you'd see about 3 or 4 bags hanging on the wall there. Well, my friends, I have a whole room dedicated to bags. I'm not making that up. I probably have 3 or 4 dozen bags. I like my bags, right? So backpack collector along with Ryan, right? So the question really comes down to, you know, yes, not to be confused with the crazy bag lady. Well, I got news for you. That's pretty much who I am. So let's come back over here. We have a few more people that came in with, 7 to 9 pairs of shoes. So I'm going to go ahead and jump us up to, I'm sure we have at least 6 contributors in there, a couple of comments. We'll be adding more. Don't worry. So let's talk about this, guys. This is what Kenneth Galbraith in The Dependence Effect is talking about. He says, listen, there's the neoclassical view of economics, right? And that view of economics is that consumers drive production. Consumer demand drives production. It's pretty simple. I mean, you guys learned this in your Economics 101 class, right? The idea is that as consumers say, I want this, the production goes up to meet that demand. So consumer demand drives production, which drives supply. But then as demand drops, well, then the system corrects and production drops off. Nobody's buying this stuff, so we're going to stop making it. Now, I'll tell you what, this isn't far off, right? There's plenty of examples, where this neoclassical view holds totally true. So take Google Glass, for example. Do you have one? Can you go buy one? No, you really can't. N95, great example, right? You can't buy it because they stopped making it. They made it. It was going to change the world, and nobody liked it, so they stopped making it. Demand drove supply, drove production, drove it down. Check out this. See this video conferencing stuff? All right, Zoom, WebEx, GoMeet, Meet, whatever, right? This technology has been around since the 1960s. Yes, this is 50-year-old technology. But it didn't work super awesome well. You had to invest in a whole bunch of stuff. But what it really came down to is people didn't like it. And think about it, guys. A lot of times when you're on a Zoom meeting, you turn off your video, right? Even today, when video conferencing is like the rule rather than the exception, a lot of us turn off the camera. So is there really a demand for it? See that right there? I owned one of those. MP3 player made by Intel. Intel made an MP3 player. It was awful. It was not user-friendly. It was clunky. It was ugly. I owned one because I worked for Intel and I hated it. Well, then Apple came out with the iPod and it changed the frickin' world. Okay? So demand for this disappeared because neoclassical view says no demand, no supply. All right. But now here's the thing. This is what Galbraith argues. He says this has, better than the portable CD player. That's for darn sure, right? Galbraith says, listen, the way things are today, it is not the consumer who dictates the terms of the industrial system, but rather the companies that produce and market goods and services. These companies manufacture an abundance of contrived wants and then market them heavily. Okay, contrived wants. Now, let me give you an example, all right? We just went through Halloween. This was a funky Halloween because of COVID and so forth. But, who here, either you or your parents, would decorate the house for Halloween? Now, I love Halloween, and we do decorate the house. We did a little bit this year, but not a whole lot. But when I grew up as a kid, nobody decorated a house for Halloween, okay? Christmas is a great example of this. Yes, diamond rings as a contrived want, absolutely, right? Great example. Fireworks, people, fireworks. Okay, just so you know what you're doing with fireworks. You're giving somebody money and they give you something in return and you light it on fire. That's it. You're essentially lighting your money on fire. Okay? Now, there is a in-between step. You convert that money into something flammable and then you light it on fire, but you're still lighting your money on fire. Why? So you can see pretty colors. All right, there's lots of pretty colors in the world. And so you can hear loud bangs. What the heck, right? And yet, every year we want bigger and better and so forth. The custom of getting new jammies on Christmas, guys, I'm really hoping I can break that custom in this house this year because, frankly, I'm kind of sick of it because I have so many pairs of jammies. I don't need any more pajamas, but my wife loves the idea of family pictures every Christmas Eve in new pajamas. She adores that. And so I'm not kidding, guys. Last time we just took the picture in the jammies and then we threw the jammies away. That's revolting, right? So what Galbraith says is that we are really expensive and lame. Totally true. We are creating these contrived wants and then we market the hell out of them. Because here's the idea. And Jeremy, you're really right about that. Here's the idea is that we need to keep producing in order to keep the economy going. Here's my favorite example. Oh, wrong one. Wrong button. Here's my favorite example right here. Now, not because that is the most ridiculous product ever created, all right? A toilet putter, right? But because of this. In the time that I give this lecture, I mean, I'll be giving this lecture now for, 3 or 4 years. I have had 2 students both say, oh, I've got one of those. 2 students saying, oh, I have one of those. And of course, they're always given as gag gifts, right? They're given as gag gifts. But the point is, nobody ever said, I want one of these, and then production went up. It's they produced it and then they marketed it. All right. So why do we purchase like this? One thing that I've already seen here is that, you got to keep the wife happy. Absolutely. Let's see. And then Timothy says, use Photoshop. That's not a bad idea. I'll have to do that, right? Let's see. Yeah, absolutely. Expensive and lame. So why do we do this? Now, we're going to talk about why we do it, but I want to ask you, why do we buy all this stuff? I mean, look around you right now at this very moment. I don't know where you are. You could be in your living room, you could be in your bedroom, you could be in the kitchen, who knows, right? Look around. How much of what you see do you need for survival? Looking around in my office, I can't think of anything in here that I need for survival. Okay? So why do we do this? So let's go ahead and go to our puppy cam, which I totally need for survival. And tell me why you think we do this. Okay, let's come back and take a look at this. We've got some awesome comments. And by the way, I already know that we've hit our contributors and we've hit our comments. And so right away, you know the spiel, guys. 84710. 84710. Send that on to me and I'll take good care of you because you're taking good care of me in these lectures. And we'll see, we have some real world examples here. So this is really great. Okay, so let's take a look at some of these. Let's see. Hayden said, distraction and validation. We want people to see our stuff and think, wow. Okay, so Hayden, you are so totally right. We're going to hold on to that because you are bang on correct. And it's Veblen. It's Veblen who really kind of puts the halo around what you just said. So in a moment here, when we talk about Veblen, yeah, everybody, we're looking at what Hayden said there. Same thing with Timothy, right? It's all about status, okay? Jeremy, we buy things out of need to satisfy wants, self-interest, pleasure. You know, here's the thing, yeah. We live in a pretty darn rich society and age, and we have a lot of discretionary money. Now, you may not think like you have discretionary money. I get it. I really get it. I don't feel like I'm swimming in discretionary money, right? But the mere fact that I spend on stuff that I don't necessarily need means there's some discretionary money there. And I have personal pleasures and wants that I want to satisfy. And we're going to discuss those in some detail. Very good. Aaron says, we buy because psychologically, you know, retail therapy. Oh, I like it. It releases endorphins when we purchase, much the same as other forms of instant gratification. Yes, there is sort of this retail therapy pleasure aspect to shopping. Absolutely. We want to have the latest, greatest, right? We need a reward. I like this one from Ryan as well. I like them all, but Ryan pulls up a new one. We need reward for our hard work, so we keep purchasing nonsense. I have never come across that comment before, but I agree with it emphatically. It's this sort of, I work hard for my money, I deserve a reward, right? It's an interesting thing that we've kind of convinced ourselves, and I've convinced myself, okay? I don't point fingers here, I point fingers here. I've convinced myself that if I do something really spectacular or I work hard or anything, I deserve to enjoy the fruits of my labor. Well, aren't you enjoying the fruits of your labor by paying your mortgage and buying food and paying the power bills? No. I want a new lens for my camera, right? Yeah. Emotional, sentimental. I like the sentimental aspect of that, Timothy, because a lot of what we buy, it's kind of like, since I have like this bag fetish, I really like buying bags. Yeah. Aaron, I used to drunk window shop at Amazon by putting things in my shopping cart, and that, made me feel good, right? Until they added buy now button, then it became expensive hobby. Really good. It's true. Amazon makes it so easy. Guys, can I share with you? It really disturbed me the other day so I have the Amazon app on my phone, and we buy a lot on Amazon, folks. And I like the way they say, hey, we've received your order. And then they send a notice saying it's been shipped. And they send a notice saying it's out for delivery. And then a notice saying it's 10 stops away. And then you can track it. And it becomes like this feed. And I noticed one day there had been like 3 or 4 days that I had not received any notices on Amazon. And I'm confessing to you folks right now. I thought, I want to buy something just so I can have that feed into my endorphins. That was really disturbing to me, that I wanted to purchase something just so I could get that high. Let's see. When I made a lot of money on the oil rigs, I would buy tons of liquor for everybody else. I learned money spent according, I like it, made according to how it's made. I quit liquor 6 years ago, by the way, and just enjoy a beer now and again. Very nice, very nice. Although I don't begrudge somebody a drink. Okay. We have hard time separating wants and needs. Okay. Mario is on to something really there, guys. By the way, this was just like real world cornucopia. Okay. We're going to just take that on up to 8. Wants and needs. The system has really been successful at confusing a want and a need. Okay. And we're going to explore that in some depth. So excellent comment. Okay. You guys really get it. Now, I'm going to share with you today quite a few quotes from this guy, Victor Lebeau. It's not included in the reading, in either one of the readings, but it's really, really illuminating, okay? So this was back in 1955, out of Prize Competition Journal of Retail, spring 1955. And this was after World War II, 10 years after World War II, right? Okay, check out what he says. Our enormously productive economy demands that we make consumption our way of life, that we convert the buying and use of goods into rituals, that we seek our spiritual satisfactions, our ego satisfactions in consumption. We need things consumed, burned up, worn out, replaced, and discarded at an ever increasing rate. Okay, this is deep stuff, folks. Think about it. Convert our buying of goods into rituals. Let's take rituals, for example. Well, baby shower, birthday, anniversary, Christmas. I mean, you name it, there's almost no sort of event that does not include some level of consumption, right? A date. How many of you, when you were younger, thought, you know what, I want to go on a date, but I'm broke. Ergo, I can't go on a date. Well, who says you need money to go on a date? The system, right? How are you going to come across to a guy or gal if you're all cheap and broke, right? No, this system doesn't like that. Spiritual satisfaction, ego satisfaction. You guys hit that. So we have really systematized, in our culture, consumption. All right. Demands that we make consumption a way of life. Now, check this out. We need goods consumed, burned up, worn out, replaced, and discarded at an ever-increasing rate. I want to talk about obsolescence, because this is what he's talking about. He says we need systematized, built-in obsolescence. All right? So let me give you an example of two types of obsolescence. One is planned obsolescence. This means that products are produced with the intent that they will break down relatively soon-ish, and that they are not to be replaced. I mean, they're not to be repaired. You don't repair these things, you replace them, okay? So now the idea is you want to make sure that it lasts long enough that people still have a good impression of the brand and the product, so they replace it with another one. But you don't repair it, right? Now, I'll give you an example from the past. This has changed a little bit recently, but it's a color printer. And I'm not making this up. It was actually designed such that when the ink cartridges on the color printer went out, it was cheaper to buy a new printer than to buy new ink cartridges. I'm not making this up. Now, quite a few businesses popped up where they would actually take your cartridges and refill them, but they didn't work super uber duper well. And so these printers, well, heck, they're $99. And to buy new cartridges was like $80-90. Just buy a new printer, right? This has changed somewhat lately, but only in the last few years. Now, I want to share with you an example of planned obsolescence. This is from my father. I'm going to come on down here. He sent me this email today. This is real world. As a matter of fact, when I get back, I get to put a real world example on the comments. Okay? So my father says this. He likes to read on his Kindle, and he gets books from the library from Kindle, for his Kindle, right? So the Library Overdrive app has upgraded security and must work on my Kindle. So, he's not able to download books. Pretty secure, certain, no doubt about that. All right, here's the point. A new Kindle is about $115, but they offer a trade-in value on my old one. 99 cents is the offer. My Kindle is less than 4 years old, a lifetime in the electronic device world. Worked just fine until it didn't. So, just to be clear, what he's saying there is that he had a perfectly fine Kindle, only 4 years old. You can read books on it. But because they required the security upgrade and his Kindle did not have that, it was now obsolete and he has to buy a new one. That's planned obsolescence, where they They plan that. All right? That's just planned. But then we also have perceived obsolescence. Okay? Now, by the way, on the planned obsolescence, let's see. Timothy says Apple does what they will with their phones when they install upgrades, and it shows it slows down their older phones. Yes, it does, and it's intended to work that way. Perceived obsolescence is when what you have works just fine. It works great. But it ain't cool, dude. It's just, those are some old kicks. The very fact that we call shoes kicks means that they're in kind of this higher level of fashion, right? And so we often buy more shoes, more hats, more jackets, more the fashion industry loves this stuff. Fashion industry loves the idea, they live on the idea of perceived obsolescence. What you have works perfectly fine, but it's not a question of utilitarian worth, it's a question of fashion worth, okay? Yeah. Okay, so that's obsolescence. Now, remember, and gosh, was it Mario? Yeah, okay, Mario said, hey, we have a hard time defining them. We have a hard time separating wants from needs, right? Yes, this is something that Galbraith talks about. Wants asserting themselves as needs. Oh, by the way, I get a real world example because of my father's email. So everybody, you can thank my father for sending that email today. That was a great example of planned obsolescence. A perfectly good Kindle is now useless because you can't upgrade it for security for the library. Nuts. Okay, so here in Utah, we have this thing called the Parade of Homes. And the idea behind this is that home developers will build a home and they'll outfit it and make it glorious and fantastic and marvelous and uber awesome. And then we, the going public, will go from home to home to home to see what they're doing, to see the greatest tech, to see the greatest architecture, to see the latest in interior design. And we go, ooh, Parade of Homes, right? I make it a point that I never go to Parade of Homes, ever. And I'm going to tell you why. One day, so I have a neighbor just literally 3 or 4 homes this way, and his floor plan in his home is exactly the same as mine. These are cookie cutter homes, right? Yeah, it's just the way it works. Floor plan is exactly the same. I love my home. I love my home. I love my home. Well, he decided he was going to build out his bedroom. And so he knocked out this wall and he extended it out. And then he allowed me a walkthrough of it. And it was awesome. And then all of a sudden, I walk into my own home. And half an hour ago, I was perfectly satisfied with my home. And now, half an hour later, I'm looking at my home as somewhat deficient. It's the keeping up with the Joneses idea. And it really bothered me that I was so susceptible to that kind of feeling. Now, no, I have not extended out my bedroom. I've not done it, and I'm perfectly happy with my home. But I've decided I'm not going to go to things that are specifically designed to make me less than satisfied with what I have and to convince me that I need more. The profit motive, right? Okay. So yes, they're absolutely doing that. But now here's the thing, guys. And you guys already alluded to this. You're no dummies. You've already alluded to this. You're pretty insightful. One thing that Galbraith says is, who can say for sure that the deprivation which afflicts him with hunger is more painful than the deprivation which afflicts him with envy for his neighbor's new car. This is what he's saying is, listen, the need for food, the pain brought on by hunger, is a physiological pain. But you know what? We can feel pain up here, right? And we need to take care of our sense of self and our sense of, who we are in the community and so forth. Now, you probably recognize this here. This is Maslow's hierarchy of needs. And yeah, food is all about physiological, but we also need to feel a sense of self-esteem and a sense of love and belonging. And oftentimes it's through purchasing and the acquisition of things that we get the sense of self-esteem, love, and belonging. And that's exactly what Veblen talks about. And that's where we're going to go next. Now, just to, end our discussion here on Galbraith, he says, here's a quote from American humorist Robert Quillen back in 1928. Americanism, using money you haven't earned to buy things you don't need to impress people you don't like. OMG, that is so true. I don't want to be an ass or anything, but there's only a handful of people I like. You know what I mean, right? My immediate family members and so forth. And they don't care what I'm wearing, but I'm going to make sure I'm spending all kinds of money to impress people that I don't like. Well, it's not that I don't like them, but they're strangers, right? So wild. So yeah, Mario, I'm with you. I frickin' love this quote, and it makes me really kind of think internally about myself a great deal. Remember, this is a critical thinking class. We need to say, how am I expressing this? Okay. So, with that, folks, let's go on to Pecuniary Emulation by Thorsten Veblen. All right. Let me ask you this, and then we'll go to the puppy cam. Why are you wearing what you're wearing? Now, I don't just mean because of the weather. I mean brands, colors, styles that you're wearing, and so forth. Now, granted, we're doing this in our home, so odds are you're wearing pajamas or something like that. But if you're out and about, now, you already kind of know the answers, but let's explore them nonetheless. If you're out and about, why are you wearing what you're wearing? Okay, so let's play with that while we go to our puppy cam. okay, let's come back and talk about this. So yeah, Jaime, I get it, right? You know, so I wear you say mostly functional. You wear shorts and a shirt and a jacket and pants. Well, yes, okay, so you're not naked. But what brand of jacket, what type of jacket, what color of jacket and pants and so forth, right? So I'll give you an example. Let me tell you what I'm wearing right now, all right? I'm wearing Levi jeans 505s, okay? Now, the very fact that I know that they're Levi jean 505s, it's like, well, why would you know that? Well, that's kind of what I grew up with in high school. And all throughout high school, I wore 505s. All right. Everybody else was wearing 501s. I was wearing 505s. And you're like, Lon, I don't know enough about Levi's to know what you're talking about. Well, when I was in high school, oh yeah, it was the thing, right? So right away, there's kind of this sort of nostalgia and what I'm comfortable with. My shoes are these Crocs, right? Because they're really, really comfortable. They are not cool at all. They're Crocs. They're kind of interesting. They're fabric and so forth. But I wear them wholly for comfort. However, when I am out teaching, I am wearing some really nice shoes. I think they're Born that I got at Nordstrom. Because you know what? I need to look professional. This shirt right here, I'm wearing this because I need to look professional from you, because I understand that if I were just wearing a t-shirt, then that would influence the way that you perceive this lecture. In other words, this is wrapping. Clothing is wrapping, but it really, you know, we judge things by the wrapper. Just so you know, if we were in a classroom right now and you were wearing your regular clothes for the classroom, we would all be wearing black, white, and gray. Black, white, and gray are the thing right now. Why is it black, white, and gray? So we're going to come back to that. Let's see. So let's look at some other comments here. So Ryan, I wear clothes that I can usually work in, right? Until I get dirty. That said, usually something from Ross or camouflage to express my love for hunting. Okay, very good. Now we're getting somewhere, right? So, our clothing kind of expresses who we are to some degree, right? So, you know, camouflage kind of says I'm a hunter. And it shows where we fit in our social order. All right. I like it. Mason, I choose my clothes because I want to be perceived a certain way. Style is often dictated by the environment in which you grow up in. Absolutely. Okay. Now you're getting it, right? Clothing is not just utilitarian. It's not just utilitarian. It is a way of expressing ourselves, but in a very safe, niche way. It's a fascinating thing when it comes to clothing. On one hand, you want to be individual, but not so individual that people look at you and go, what a weirdo. You don't want to be featured on the People of Walmart website. So you don't want to go too far outside the bounds, but you don't want to dress exactly like everyone else. So we figure out what the boundary is and we try to express ourselves in those boundaries. Let's see, similar style, right? Let's see, Mario, I used to be all about style and brand, but once I had kids, yeah, then you start to realize you're paying for that. Very good. Mason, Utah style is centered around skate, streetwear. Yes, my friends from the South are all about boots, hunting gear. Yes, you can really tell where somebody is from by the style, right? I was actually kind of hurt by spending money, look professional. Yes, as a retailer, yeah. Aaron says it's important to display a professional appearance in, whatever circle you're doing. And we're going to talk about that here, right? It really is important to be accepted by the collective, especially in our niches. So we're going to talk about that. Very good. When I was working at Little Caesars in high school, I made sure to wear the uniform professionally, but it wasn't like I wanted to climb the corporate ladder or anything. Yes, exactly. Very good. Okay, so let's play with this. Let's talk about pecuniary emulation. Okay? Pecuniary means financial. I told you in a previous lecture while back, learn the word pecuniary. It means financial, right? But in kind of a filthy lucre sense. Emulation means to copy or to be seen like, to emulate, to reflect, right? So pecuniary emulation, yes, keeping up with the Joneses. Pecuniary emulation means we want to be perceived as financially like these other people, okay? It is keeping up with the Joneses. It is pecuniary emulation that drives the celebrity endorsement market. We want to be like Beckham, so we buy Adidas. We want to be like, what's his name there? So we get Tag Earl, right? You know, Katy Perry, Chanel, Brad Pitt, I forget who that is, singer that my daughter liked, and you're like, I can't see her, so I don't know. Let's see if, you still might not be able to see her. The point is, we kind of want to be associated with these people. We want to be associated with the brand because we want their awesomeness. Here, I'll move down that one so you can see. Gosh, I forget his name. We want their awesomeness to rub off on us. And so when you wear specific brands and you're having those brands show off and you get those brands specifically because of what they are, this is a form of pecuniary emulation. When we dress like others, when we want to know what our favorite stars are wearing or driving, right? This is a form of pecuniary emulation. Now, here's another real world example from me. I drive a Subaru BRZ. The Subaru BRZ, it's a rear wheel drive, manual transmission, cheap little sports car. Toyota makes one as well. It was a joint venture between Subaru and Toyota. And theirs was the, I think, FRS, something like that. I bought it for a whole bunch of very emotional reasons. I mean, I have a list as long as my arm of all the emotional reasons that I bought this car. One of them was I was really fond of the TV show Top Gear. It's a BBC motoring show, and with Jeremy Clarkson, Richard Hammond, and James May. They were the hosts at the time. And Jeremy Clarkson raved about this car. All right. I mean, he just said, this is one of the best cars ever, blah, blah, blah. And he raved and raved and raved about it. Well, I really like those hosts on that TV program, and they love this car. Ergo, I want one of those cars. Right. And now there are other reasons as well, but that is a form of pecuniary emulation on my part. Okay. So let's continue to define some things, and then we're going to bring it all to us. All right, so next thing we want to look at is the term conspicuous consumption. Now, this term was not in this particular Veblen reading. However, Veblen did come up with the term conspicuous consumption. And what conspicuous consumption is all about is getting things for the distinct purpose of people noticing it. All right. Conspicuous means it's highly noticeable. All right. If you have a pimple the size of a nickel on your nose, that's a conspicuous thing, right? Consumption, of course, is consumption. Well, for example, you need a watch. Actually, nobody wears watches anymore because they just look at their phone. But you see this watch right here? This Breitling? Oh my gosh, I want this watch. Isn't that a freaking beautiful watch? And for a mere $35,000, that could be mine. All right. You need a car? All right, there's a car. Nobody gets this car except to be noticed. All right. You need a boat? My father-in-law has a boat. There's a yacht. Oh yeah, people want to be noticed. Conspicuous consumption is all about, making sure people see how rich you are. Bling. All right. So let's do a couple of quotes. All right. This is from the reading. The motive that lies at the root of ownership is emulation. We're not purchasing to survive. We're way past that. We're purchasing to fit in, to emulate. All right. And the same motive of emulation continues active in the further development of the institution to which it has given rise. So, in other words, the institution, consumerism, knows that it's all about emulation. And so all the advertising, all the marketing, all the promotion is all about, you're not as happy as you could be. You want to be as happy as this person. See how happy this person is. See how successful this person is. See how well off they are. You want to be like them. Buy this. And the development of those features for the social structure and institutions that touches them. So, for example, I have a lot of gear for these live streams, right? I have a lot of gear for my live streams and for my YouTube videos. And I have to really kind of watch it because that was coming off. Gosh, this gear is freaking expensive. And there's only about 8 million review videos on YouTube saying, oh, you need this camera. Oh, you need this lens. Oh, you need this mic. Oh, you need this, computer system. Oh, you need this light, right? And before you know it, you have spent thousands upon thousands upon thousands of dollars just so you could get slightly better quality. Says the guy who just upgraded his internet so that I could do surveys online, right? But you see what I'm saying. And by the way, this is Timothy says this is why companies give celebrities products so that they can be seen wearing them. Yes, in fact, Charlie Sheen said one time, and Charlie Sheen, not exactly a great role model, but he said something really interesting once. He said, the richer you are, the less you have to buy. Because the richer and more successful you are, the more people will just give you stuff because they want you to be seen wearing their stuff, using their stuff, driving their stuff, eating their stuff. And so the richer and more successful you are, the higher lifestyle you can live for free because people are giving it to you. It's nuts. Nuts. Nuts, I tell you. Okay. Continuing on. The possession of wealth confers honor, right? In our society, when we see somebody wealthy, we, without even really realizing it, we confer honor upon them. We pay homage to them because if they're wealthy, we presume they're successful and smart. And success and smarts are to be honored and revered in our society. I'll read it. It is the invidious, meaning causing harm or envy, distinction. Nothing equally cogent, meaning, rational, can be said for the consumption of goods, nor for any other conceivable incentive to acquisition, and especially not for any incentive to accumulation of wealth. In other words, and you guys already pointed this out, we buy stuff because we want to impress. We want to impress those in our circle, and even those outside our circle, to say, nee, we're successful. We purchase to be perceived as successful. All right? Now, check this out. I told you we were going to talk about Victor Lebeau a little bit. Let's see what Tesla. Oh, yeah. Well, that's a great real world example. Let's see what Victor Lebeau says about this. All right? The measure of social status, of social acceptance, of prestige is now to be found in our consumptive patterns. The very means and significance of our lives today is expressed in consumptive terms. The greater the pressure upon the individual to conform to safe and accepted social standards, the more does he tend to express his aspirations and his individuality in terms of what he wears, drives, eats, his home, car, habits, blah, right? That's profound, okay? We have made social status something that is done through consumption. Now, here's my question. Sounds shallow. Sounds really shallow. Keeping up with the Kardashians and so forth. But is it really? Can you think of really good, legitimate reasons why this actually is normal human behavior and, has its place, has its purpose? Can you think of any reasons around that? So with that, once again, we'll go to our puppy cam. Oh, and by the way, these two puppies, they're expensive. And they're the most popular puppies. Yeah, I do it too. Okay, excellent. Let's come back and take a look at a couple things. So Timothy says, since we're not a monarchy in the U.S., buying and consuming and having the best is a way of moving up in society. It's really true. We're all looking for comfort and for social status, all right? We truly want social status. And by purchasing things, we can enjoy comfort and we can attain social status. And that's just kind of one of the ways that we can express it. Jeremy, for someone that needs a service animal, it is ideal to find a dog that is better suited and has a history of trainability. They're not cheap. Yeah, that is for darn sure. Hence the need for something expensive to fit the need. Sometimes what we need is truly expensive. I get that. These aren't service animals, although they do give me the occasional puppy break. I need to say that carefully because if I say that really loud, they get excited, right? That's where we wrestle. I need a nice big truck to be, better feeling handyman, emotional support. Very good. Very good. We strive to continuously improve our circumstances and what we perceive as that important. What we see in others who already have done it, it's not necessarily a bad thing. Okay, you guys are getting it. Here's my assertion. Okay, remember this quote from Galbraith. All right, if we are hungry, we are feeling physiological pain. All right, if we are scared for our safety, we are feeling fear of our fellow man. But if we do not feel love and belonging, we get psychologically messed up. We need to feel a sense of love and belonging. We are a social creature. We cannot survive, let alone thrive, alone. So we need to belong. And there are certain things that send signals to the community that we belong. And these things are outward looking. We need to feel a sense of self-esteem. Hey, I worked hard and I'm an effective handyman. I drive a nice truck and I feel a sense of self-esteem on that. I'm proud of my skills. I'm proud that my skills allowed me to afford this really nice truck, and I get a sense of satisfaction out of that. The need for self-esteem is no less important than the need for food, okay? And finally, self-actualizing, yes. All this video stuff I do, this is all self-actualizing, people. I mean, yes, of course, I am using it right now because of this COVID pandemic, but come on. A lot of this is way more than I need to do to keep my job, right? I'm not doing this because of the pandemic. I'm doing this because I just think it's awesome, okay? And I enjoy it, and I get satisfaction out of it. And it has required me to spend a great deal of money. But I'm self-actualizing. And the need to self-actualize is very, very important. So the fact is, we need to fit in with one another. We need to indicate that we are intelligent, that we're successful, that we're hardworking, that we're capable, that we're competent, and that we have a valuable place in this society. The nice truck shows this. The nice clothes show this. The ability to purchase and effectively use equipment shows this. It shows that we are valuable contributors to the community and that we have a place. And this is, in fact, really important. Probably not important enough for me to go get a Breitling watch, but it's important. Okay? So, this is what we're going to end on. I love this. This is RuPaul. His real name is, let's see, Shante. This is from an interview on NPR. And this is a quote from him. I love this. "You're born naked, and the rest is drag." This is drag. I changed my shirt before this live stream. I was wearing a t-shirt. This is drag. We're born naked, and the rest is drag. Drag is what you put on after you get out of the shower. We're all playing roles, you know. Even as a kid, I remember thinking, why aren't we talking about the fact that everybody's playing a role? I couldn't get anybody to break the fourth wall and say, everyone's playing a role, right? Are you seeing this? When you're wearing camouflage, you're playing a role. You're not out hunting. You're not hunting. You're not hunting. But you're saying, look at me, I'm a hunter. And when I'm wearing Levi's, I'm not a teenager in high school, but I'm saying, look, I'm retro. When I wear these glasses, I didn't tell you about these glasses. Why do I wear these glasses? I'm going to show you. I'm going to show you right now why I wear these glasses. This is Chuck Palahniuk. I don't know how to pronounce his name. He's a writer who I really admire. I used to hate thick black glasses. I thought these were the stupidest design in the world. But now look at what he wears. And when I saw that he wears these glasses, all of a sudden I was like, oh, I love those glasses. I was really aware of the fact that up until the moment I saw these pictures, I hated thick black rimmed glasses. And the moment I saw these pictures, I loved these glasses. Folks, I wear these because I want to show that I fit in, but it's drag. I'm not a world famous author, but pecuniary emulation, drag, says, yeah, I'm going to wear them. Okay? So that's my take on that. So, you know, if we come back, if I pull this back up and we go to our final quote, this is our final quote. Everybody's playing a role, right? Are you seeing this? You're all playing a role. I'm playing a role. I'm trying to look like a professor who's hip and wears writer's glasses. This is all a role. Just something to think about. Something to think about. Okay. So there we are, everyone. That is it for this particular lecture. Now, when we come back on Thursday, remember, those are the readings I'm going to take care of you on. You're welcome to take a look at them. All right. Diophysis. It's going to talk about ethics, and then we're going to talk about cheating. It's all about business ethics and cheating. So come back on Thursday and we'll have some good discussions there. But otherwise, that is it for today. We're all set. As per usual, I'll stick around, see if there are any questions or comments in the comments, right? In the chat, I should say. Don't forget to send me the your email, because check this out. We made 3 10s. That's not bad. All right. So, let's see. Rough draft due on Friday. That's a very good question, Timothy. Yes, rough draft due on Friday. Rough draft is a rough draft. It doesn't have to be perfectly formatted. It doesn't have to be perfectly written. It's just kind of showing your first go at it. Now, if you actually do a really solid rough draft and there's only a few little fixes, well, then you're in really good shape. But this is the first draft of the paper. I'm not going to be looking for nitty-gritty little details like, oh, that should be a period, that should be a comma. I'm just making sure that you're following the intent of the assignment and taking the readings and internalizing them to yourself and thinking about them critically. But yes, that's coming up. Good question. Thank you for that. Let's see. Is the final going to be online? Yes, the final is online. And furthermore, I do a final review where if you attend the final review or watch the final review And in fact, there's already a final review video out there that you can reference. If you watch the final review and take notes during it, you're going to be so set up. I mean, completely set up. So, yeah, I recommend you do that. But yes, it's online. Okay. All right, everyone. Thank you very much. Have a fantastic day, and we'll connect up with you on Thursday. All right. So with that, we'll see you later.